Oh, that sun's starting to roll in. See, Jared?
Yeah.
You know, I was a little worried about these ominous clouds behind us because we are doing another porch episode for all of you lovely people out there.
Feels like it's been a while since we've been on the porch.
Yeah, I think the last 3-4 episodes we've done indoors just because of the rain and the weather. Fall is approaching, Jared.
Yeah, I think September 21st is the final day of summer. Fall is the best season in Michigan, but it lasts for about 3 weeks. But it is the best season, I would say.
I would say if we're lucky, we can get to the end of October, sometimes in Michigan, and then November, sometimes we can get hit by snow, and it already feels very winter-esque, I would say.
My partner is saying that she thinks this is going to be an especially bad winter because last one was so mild.
I think she might be right.
You agree with that logic?
Yeah, I think I've seen it happen here in Michigan before, to be honest.
Yeah.
Where one winter is kind of mild, and then you get pummeled the next one.
Yeah.
With tons of snow. We'll see.
But I think
we're wrong, but we'll see.
I think in this new work from home culture that we're all living in, I don't mind a pummeling.
Right.
Because it's actually beautiful if you don't have to, if you don't have anywhere to be, it is lovely. Or if it's not like so much that your power goes out or something, I guess.
Right, that's
then it's
true.
a little dangerous, but
that's true. And hopefully you have a good heating system in your home. As well.
I need to raise up this camera. I feel like people can see too much of my stomach, and it's making me self-conscious. So there we go.
There you go. All right. So I mentioned I wanted to talk about something today.
Yep.
Which is I ran across this story. Doesn't really surprise me. I think everybody is a little bit at fault here, but I want to tell you the story and get your thoughts here, Jared.
It's a great start.
As you can see, a USC professor can't teach after using a Chinese filler that sounds like and this is the headline I'm reading, sounds like the N-word. So I can tell you, as someone that lived in China, you have the word jiga, which means like this.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm just for safekeeping, I'm going to do the Chinese translation.
Chad knows not to get canceled at this point.
That's right. I love doing this podcast with you, and I'm not willing. And see, I already got my Chinese pulled up right here.
He's right, because I'll cancel his ass too. I don't give a shit.
He will. It should.
You can't get it. This is kind of like when someone. There you go. This is kind of like when someone says.
All right. So listen, Jared. So it'll say jiga, which means this, and then it will say the other one. Here we go. Oh, it won't. They won't be able to hear it because it's in our headphones.
Oh my gosh.
My bad. Well, here. Actually, hold up. Here, we can fix this.
Chad's gonna get real fancy on you.
That's right.
On y'all
fancy.
right now.
That's right. All right. Output we need.
Oh God! Please don't mess anything up. I'm so scared for garage.
Here we go, Jared. You heard that second one, right?
I barely heard it. Naga.
But some Chinese dialects, they say jiga,
right?
Naga, and then the other one they say sounds very close to a certain word.
I understand.
Yes. So anyways, so this USC professor apparently used this.
I've heard that before. Don't they have something like that in Korean too?
They might. Yeah, very, very well could. And I remember telling my students in Jinan that if they come to America to visit, they use that filler word when they're thinking. Kind of like So anyway, so apparently this professor, a communications professor at the University of Southern California, has been placed on short-term pause after using a Chinese filler that sounds similar.
That's so stupid.
It is stupid, isn't it? It's ridiculous. So Dr. Greg Patton, who teaches Marshall School of Business, used the word, and I love how they have the Chinese characters here, naga, but it can sound like,
right?
Naiga. Or, depending on if you say it faster, I'm not going to get any closer here, Jared.
Or Niaga.
And so he was teaching a graduate
but never with the
class.
ER. It never sounds like that.
Right. But anyway, so he explains this to his class. Oh, there's a video of it.
Send it to me. Can you airdrop? Yeah. How do you airdrop from Chrome?
I'll just send it to you. I got messages.
Oh, right. I forgot.
Messages, buddy. Don't you worry.
My computer's slow. If I did it on my computer, we'd have to wait about 45 minutes for messages to open up.
Not next time we record, though.
That's true. Your boy's upgrading.
That's right.
Upgrading with someone else's downgrade.
That's right. But hey. All right. So see, Jared, now our audio preferences are all Gucci.
Cool.
So anyway, so yeah, can you play this? I sent it to you. I haven't actually seen this. So let's see. And the caption is, do you think this professor should be fired?
Yeah, USC administration removed Professor Greg Patton from teaching his business student after using a Chinese word that. Sounds like a racial. That wasn't the end of it. That sounds like a racial. I was like, that's a weird way to end a sentence, but okay.
Right.
Sounds like a racial slur. Okay, and he said in his class. Here's the video from the class. Come on, show me the video. We're really
Are we blowing
audio wise? We're really on point today, Chad.
Do we even?
We're really
do we
on
even
point.
do a podcast, Jared? Do we even do a podcast?
Shut up!
Is it an ad? Oh
No, it's because I turned
it
my
was. You didn't
speakers weren't
turn
on.
your speaker on. We have got an
hold
earlier
on.
start.
Okay, now although I'm glad that we're watching this because now that I feel like I might change my mind in a second. Hold on.
Break between ideas can help bring the audience in. If you have a lot of or ers, and this is culturally specific, so based on your native language, like in China, the common word is that. So in China, it might be nega. So
Pause it.
different words
Pause
that
it.
you hear in different countries.
Okay. So first of all, I'm going to try to defend this guy a little bit, because I do work in education and I understand what he's getting at.
That. So in China, it might be nega. So there's different.
But see,
New drop.
oh, jeez. Oh, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. But I don't know. Do you think this guy should be fired, though? I mean,
Listen, it is funny how many times he said it. I'm not gonna lie.
but that's what you'll hear in China.
And also, in my head, I'll tell you, I'm not going to say this changes my mind or anything, but I will say that something that did change for me and that made me have to reevaluate my position was I thought he was speaking Chinese at first. So at first I thought, and that's why I thought it was extra ridiculous. But now when I hear it like this, it is kind of funny. And I can imagine how people would obviously be like, oh my gosh. But no, I don't think he should be. No, I don't know.
He's just explaining another word.
And I think he was smart to not even... he never even, I don't know, if it was me, I'd probably have to make some sort of stupid joke that I'm constantly saying the N-word.
Right.
He just,
moved on.
He seemed very professional.
Play more of it.
He seemed very professional, and he...
Words that you'll hear in different countries, but they're vocal disfluencies. It's saying that,
That was...
Two things. One is you can put a pause in between.
That's it. But he was explaining, he's literally explaining how people's filler. He's explaining filler words, right? That's the point of the presentation or whatever he's giving,
right?
And
he is a communications professor.
And for Chinese, that's the nigga is their. It's a good filler word. I'm not gonna lie, but it is their filler word,
and you will hear it. I mean, I heard it. I can vouch, first-hand experience.
And I mean. It seems stupid to say, but it's a completely different language. Like
right.
Chinese has no relation to English, and so just because it sounds the same, doesn't mean it has any sort of relation to what we're saying here.
Well, that's a weird thing. Is language is so ambiguous and abstract. You know what I mean? Like our word for this is this or that, right?
I think nothing that he said there was a
fireable offense.
Nothing that he said there was wrong.
Right.
And I don't know. Maybe if I was a white person, I'd like to think that maybe I'd only say it twice. I don't know.
But that is how they say it over there.
That's sure.
He gave a very accurate.
Sure. I mean, he's just teaching people how people talk.
Right.
I don't understand how. He wasn't even talking about people. He wasn't. There was no reference to it was no reference to people or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And to me, it's just I
just realized I love this power washer in the background.
Right. Yep. Doing some power washing the next couple of days. But yeah, so it's a crazy story though. I mean, and as I said, apparently he is on administrative leave or pause.
So he's he's at a university. He's a professor.
What?
He's a professor, right?
Yeah.
So you'd imagine that at some point, people in other departments would be like, would stick up for him. Does that
Right.
happen at colleges?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the story, and now this is coming from a website called nextshark.com. So I'm not sure, anyways, this is at least what we're reading here. So Dr. as I said, translated to
What's his name again?
Dr. Greg Patton is this guy's name. So anyway, so what happened though is there was a student group that the group added that they lived in China and take Chinese language courses, and the word was clearly and precisely before instruction is always identified as a phonetic homonym and a racial derogatory term. They stated that when in the context of speaking Chinese within the social context of the United States, it should be used more carefully, which I had also told my students that as well. Because I have friends who are Americans who speak Mandarin fluently, and when I hear them talk to their friends on the phone in Chinese, I'll hear them say this word because it means this or that, right?
I don't think he was being careless.
Right. And apparently this student group wrote, "Our mental health has been affected. It's an uneasy feeling, allowing him to have the power over our grades. We would rather not take his course than to endure the emotional exhaustion of carrying on with an instructor that disregards cultural diversity and sensitivities, and by extension creates an unwelcome environment for us black students." Dr. Patton's faculty profile describes him as an expert in communication, interpersonal, and leadership effectiveness. In light of the situation, he agreed to take a short-term pause amid
What
a
else is he
review.
going to do? He's just more racist if he argues about it.
Right. Right. I mean, he could.
I don't think he's racist.
Right.
Though.
He could walk. I mean, he could resign, but I don't think he'd do that.
I think that's. Listen, I hate to disregard people's feelings, but I don't know if I feel that strongly about it.
Right.
I don't know if
that's the thing.
I don't know if it's it would be hard for me to imagine that would have such a effect on me emotionally that I wouldn't be able to even have this teacher as a teacher anymore.
Right. Right. And yeah.
If anything, I don't know. I don't know.
And obviously, we don't know
I
the
sound like an
whole-
old person now.
Right. Well, we don't know the whole story either, but at the same time, I just feel like, yeah, he was just explaining something like that you will legitimately hear,
Right.
It's crazy.
And if you're
And
did he give examples of other languages that do it? If that was his go-to example, I mean, like, hey, pick another example.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, unless
That is a
he
good
was giving
point.
multiple examples,
Right.
It would I would find it a little odd.
What
that
are
that's-
some better examples we could give this guy?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know all the
'Cause-
around the world.
Because Germans,
They kind of just say
Right.
Or they, I mean, a slight variation of that.
Yeah. What?
Like something that would be so far out of our. Like, because all the European ones are
lot of
just
them are,
variations of
Yeah, I wonder what they do in Arabic.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because every language I think does have
What
these
slur do
type
they,
of. That might be a
use?
fun episode to explore at some point. Filler words in different languages.
Okay, all right.
That might be a good one. But yeah, I don't know. I do feel like, as you said, Jared. We're not trying to, put anybody down for their feelings, but. Yeah, I mean, but we don't know the whole story. I guess we don't
like
know.
how else should that be taught?
Right. I guess, as you said, though, it would be smarter to find a better example, maybe. That's not a
Well, that's what I'm
terrible
saying.
idea.
Well, because he's
That's a
talking
good
about
idea.
fillers.
Right.
So if he's giving a whole bunch of examples and they just
Right.
cut out, and we saw like one example and we just saw the Chinese example,
Right.
then that's one thing. But if he's just talking about fillers as far as communications in English and he just uses that as his one example, I would just,
Right.
I don't know, I would like to think of if I were a white person, even if it were a quote unquote legitimate example, I'd still just be like, I'm just gonna, like, I could find another, there's gotta be another example that just would avoid this awkward moment. Even though it is a legitimate example, what you're saying is
Right.
true. You're not saying it in a derogatory way, I guess, but
That's true.
it's just weird that that you didn't think about that, I guess.
I really try, though, to be honest, to avoid fillers at all costs because I think it's wasted
Sure.
words.
Of
why
course.
why not just take the time?
I'm bad at that though. I use a lot of fillers.
You don't all the time, do you?
I don't know. But I mean, this guy is a communications
And he's
teacher.
explaining-
so it completely makes sense
Right.
that he'd be talking about filler words.
Yeah, I would say so. But yeah, so anyways, I really hope though that this guy Dr. Patton added that his pronunciation of the word originates from the time he had spent in Shanghai. I mean, I've heard that in other places in China too, not just Shanghai.
I believe that. I don't have any doubt in the world that they say it like that, because I feel like
Right.
I've heard that before.
Right. And yeah, but it's, I don't know. I hope this guy doesn't lose his job, because of something like this. I mean, I get that, as I said, I think everyone's a little bit at fault here with this one.
Yeah.
He, as you said, he could have definitely chosen a better example, probably.
I think I'll that's all I'm saying is, I don't think the guy should lose his job either, but you would hope that it would make him think twice about what he's doing, especially when you're like, the thing about it for me also too is that like they are children. So like when you're talking to like kids, you always got to keep that kind of stuff in mind too.
Well, they're
because, like,
college students. I don't think they're kids. They're 18, 19, 20.
Come on, dude. Did you not go to college?
I mean, I went to college, but I think, you're getting closer to the real world.
Yeah, I mean they're not children as in like you have to babysit them and like
Right.
they can't handle
in theory,
it.
they should be.
But I mean, like they're
yeah.
children in the sense that like I can totally see how it could turn into a joke among students,
It probably already has.
and I could imagine how that would annoy me as a black student, to hear.
That's true.
Now
That's fair.
or like I could imagine, and I'm not saying any of this happened, but I could also imagine hearing some white kids being like, "Oh no, this is just how they say it in Chinese. I'm not saying the N-word." I can 100% hear
That's
that
true.
happening. And
and that's not cool.
But I'm also putting a lot on it that's not on it. We don't know that any of that
Right.
happened.
Right.
But I'm just saying.
But you do know college kids.
That's what I'm
college
saying.
kids would
That's what I'm
definitely
saying.
do
So
that,
as a
for
professor,
sure.
it's like you got to kind of keep it kind of does surprise me that you wouldn't at least think about that stuff.
Right.
It's like you are teaching kind of half children. And it's like
Right.
you kind of know how half children respond. You know, kind of that when people hear that, they're probably going to be like, at least giggle. I don't know, So, but I think it's just a stupid. I don't think he should lose his job.
Right. I will tell you though, when I lived in China, I was definitely the Jigga man. Every time I
What
would
does
go
that
out to
mean?
eat, Jigga,
Jay-Z?
Jigga. Because I didn't speak enough Chinese to read the characters.
baby.
That's right. I always had my little speaker with me on my backpack playing that song when I would go and order something,
The Jigga Man wants this.
That's right.
The Jigga Man wants Jigga. Yeah. So
But got the job done. Got the job
I'm
done.
gonna save.
that's for
I'm
sure.
gonna save our apology for the next episode.
the next one. All right.
But I did want to ask you. Did you see what David Blaine did?
Oh yeah, he flew over. He flew over with like a bunch
He
of
was
balloons,
in
right?
Yeah. So this was called Ascension. He did it for YouTube. And
That's hilarious.
I actually
Ascension?
listened to his Joe Rogan episode. Actually, on the way to your house the week or two ago, and on the episode, he's like a illusion, not like a he does stunts and stuff.
Magic and illusion
And stunts,
stuff. Yeah.
and he had Joe Rogan stab him with an ice pick on the episode, and I was listening to this as I was driving,
What?
and I was still like wincing just
Oh.
listening to it, and I'm like, I'm so glad I'm not watching this.
Right.
So I actually, I because I'm so well prepared, I took this. This is a screenshot from my computer screen while I was watching it. Look at this. This is ridiculous. And what he was saying during this episode, he was talking about this. He was saying he was really trying to recreate that like sort of cartoon-esque being pulled away by balloons and holding onto it. So he had this look where he was holding onto it with one hand.
arm, yeah.
Or with one arm. But really, like it was strapped to, like he had a harness that.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Because I saw at one point, like
Well, he is an illusionist, so.
but he wasn't. That wasn't part of it though, because I
Okay.
saw at one point he had to like. So what he did, and I don't fully understand why this was. I think he might have mentioned it, but so he had a parachute, but he didn't put it on until he got to about 10,000 feet. So he started putting it on at about 9,000 feet. Took a
Okay.
second to get it on. So about
Okay.
10,000 feet was when he got it on. But what he had to do, it was like up in the balloon. So he had to pull it down. It was on a string.
Oh wow.
And he had to.
That's so crazy, dude.
So I saw him clearly let go of the sort of one hand thing and to pull it
Right,
down. So it's clear
right.
that he wasn't just doing that. So he had to pull it down, and then he had to put on the backpack. And then once the backpack was secured on, or the parachute, I should say,
Right.
the backpack with the parachute in it, he had to detach the the hooks that were holding the parachute on, and then also actually before that he was going up, and they were tracking the speed. He had his altitude and all that stuff. And
were they doing it with a watch? You pointed to your wrist.
He had he had 2 altimeters on,
Okay.
and then they obviously maybe had some sort of other way to track his altitude remotely.
Okay.
But or maybe they didn't. I feel like they were just asking him. No, maybe they did. Because they had the altitude on the screen, but I feel like at some point they were asking him. Oh, they were asking just to make sure that they were aligned on their what he was seeing is what they were seeing and all that stuff. So they did have a way to see it as well. But as he was ascending, he had all these weights, and at certain points they would tell him to drop weights.
Okay.
And
he'd go up higher.
And I think part of it was because they just didn't want him to just shoot into the sky or something. There's a certain speed that they're trying to get this to happen at. Mm-hmm. And so,
how many balloons do you think that was?
I mean, look,
looks like a.
But I mean,
shit ton
think
of
about
balloons.
it. These aren't balloons you're going to get from Kroger,
right? Not your $1 balloons, right?
These are probably very because this had to get certified as an aircraft essentially.
Do you know how long it took him to travel to go? Where
I
he
think the
needed
whole thing probably lasted about maybe an hour.
That's still crazy.
So between going up, maybe a little less than that, maybe 45 minutes between going up, because the whole thing was 2 hours. I didn't start from the very beginning, but I know he wasn't. But there's no way they didn't just start him from being in the air. Obviously, they probably showed him actually ascend from the beginning. So it was probably about 45 minutes. And look, so.
That is absolutely
He
wild.
ended up float. Did you see that? Guess how high he got to, in feet. So think what your airplane cruises at about 35,000 feet.
I'd say 15 to 20,000 feet.
Oh, I was like, what's that noise? This CNN article just started playing.
15 to 20,000.
You're close but low. 24,900.
24. Wow, so almost
so essentially 25,000.
That's
4.7 miles. And then
in
he
the
had to
sky. That's crazy.
Yep, with balloons.
Right.
And then he had to skydive back down, which was also kind of terrifying to watch.
Yeah, skydiving is something else.
Especially since he's not jumping out of a plane. I mean, I guess what difference does it make? But he's jumping
Right.
off of a bunch of balloons.
So what happens then? That aircraft just keeps going up and it's gone?
No, I think there's probably some way that they can
Pop the balloons?
I think so. Because
Bring it back
there's
down.
no way that they're allowed to just
let it go.
let it go and just let it fall where it may.
Right. Yeah, that would be terrible.
There's no way that's part of the thing.
Right. That's
so
wild.
I'm sure that they actually put it. They have a way of bringing it down.
That's pretty crazy, though. That's crazy. David Blaine has done some crazy stuff.
Yeah, and the main person that he was talking to. So there was a person that was narrating what was happening, but then the main person. So David Blaine obviously had a headset and he was talking to people. The main sort of person that wasn't the engineers that he was talking to was his daughter. He kept going back his daughter. Kept going back to his daughter and be like, hey, and giving check-ins and stuff.
That's funny.
And a little part of me is like, well, I don't know if I'd want to put my kids through this.
Right.
This seems like torture for a child to watch. I don't know. I don't know. The kids looked like she was I don't know, 11 or something, 10 or 11 or 12. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be on camera talking to my dad constantly thinking he could follow the sky at any moment. I don't know. It was weird.
It's crazy, but I mean, dude knows what he's doing, I guess.
Yeah.
He does.
And he looked super happy when he hit the ground.
Oh, I'll bet. I mean, that's quite the feat. That's quite the accomplishment.
He was
to be able to do
clapping,
that.
and he was just like fist pumping.
Yeah.
And I was like, that dude must be
Right.
that must be a rush right there.
Oh, for sure, dude.
That's better than any drug right there.
Well, speaking of Rush, Jared, how about we
I thought you were about to start singing one of those songs. A Rush song.
Oh, sorry, you didn't have the.
No,
my
I
bad.
didn't.
You
That's
didn't
my
have the
bad.
drops ready.
No. That's not your bad. That's my bad. I should be prepared. Spread a little love.
That's right. And
let's give some shout outs, Chad.
Let's do it. And my first shout out today goes out to a museum in Copenhagen for the world's first ever Museum of Happiness. This sounds
that
like
sounds very Denmarky.
It does.
That's where they went for that IKEA thing.
Oh yeah,
where they
the
were trying-
happiness training, right?
Yeah, that they went to Denmark.
Yeah, so happiness and 2020 have not always seen eye to eye. This is from breakingnews.ie. Whether it's social and political upheaval, natural disasters, or the small matter of a global pandemic,
Oh, that
two-thirds
thing?
in 2020 already being touted as a career year for awfulness, and the tunnel is only showing slight signs of light. Perhaps then we could learn a little something from Denmark. No, I don't know if that's how they talk. That's probably not how
That
they
sounded
talk.
kind of Italian.
That did a little bit. I was trying to... Anyways, perennial named among the happiest countries in the world. July brought... Okay, anyways. So this museum opened up in July of the Happiness Museum in the capital of Copenhagen, a new installation curated by the influential think tank, the Happiness Research Institute.
Is that a company?
It's a research institute, yeah, on happiness.
So they're getting funding just to figure out happiness?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, you know what?
Just the idea of that seems far-fetched to me as an American.
it does, but honestly, dude, like think about all the stuff people spend money on. I feel like this is not a bad investment to learn about what makes people happy.
Well, and I mean, self-help is a gigantic field.
It's a huge industry.
So how
too.
about we stop listening to Gary Vee telling us to conquer our fears and actually get down to the science of what is happiness,
I would say we need a little bit of both.
Give me a pill that makes me happy. I want one of those limitless pills.
Well, it won't make you happy, Jared, but the red pill is one of them.
But like those...
the red pill is definitely one of them.
Is it? Yeah. Yeah, but then I'm going to have to start fighting a bunch of guys that that wear suits and sunglasses.
You can do the bullet thing. You can dodge the bullets, Jared. You're quick. Just stop it. Jared's doing the Matrix. For those of you listening.
For those of you not on YouTube, I stopped bullets with my hands and then I picked it out of the sky and looked at it. I love that, though. I love that.
I mean, but the funny thing is, dude, is we've been studying happiness since forever.
I mean, that's got to be one of the beginning of time
Plato,
things,
Socrates, Aristotle. I keep wanting to say them the German way.
How do you say it?
Aristoteles.
Oh, okay.
You know, the emphasis is on different spots.
I actually did not know that's how they said it. I mean, it makes sense, but I've never talked about Aristotle in German before.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's my fault.
A little different. But yeah. So anyways, I think this is a great idea, though. I would love to eventually check this museum out.
Do you think it's possible to come to sort of an answer on what happiness is? Or sort of break it down?
I think we've talked about it. We should do an episode on that.
Okay.
I do have some not some answers, but I do have some thoughts.
All right. Well,
Definitely
I guess we have our
thoughts.
next episodes.
Ready to go in the chamber.
Yes.
In the chamber, locked and loaded, baby. All right, but yeah, this is definitely a great thing, though. And I think the whole point is to try to better understand the human condition. Better understand what makes us tick, what can make us laugh and smile. At the end of the day, I think that's little teaser. That's what happiness really is, though, is what can make you laugh and smile at the end of the day.
Well, that's why I think it's so hard to tell people what happiness is.
Right.
Because it's not a thing. It's like what gets you to a place.
Exactly.
What is that?
Right.
And I guess in a healthy way, because, a lot of people could say like drugs or something, but it's like, is that really a healthy way of attaining, whatever that is you're looking for?
Right. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it comes down to also, I really think this may sound counterintuitive, but like just working for something. Like, I think that sense of accomplishment for me leads to a lot of happiness. You work really hard for something, you save up I remember when I was in high school, I bought this guitar amp. I saved up like 4 months for it.
At work, when a lot of what I do is make presentations. Some of the presentations take a bit of time, a couple months, and it's a lot of data that you're trying to work through there. And I think one of the greatest feelings I have has nothing to do with working on it, but that when you hit send on the final edition and you send out the final edition, that's always a great feeling.
That
and it's
is
like
a great
and
feeling.
it's like that's when it's done, when it's like, all right, now I'm done, people have it, there's nothing I can do now, it's theirs now. Mm-hmm. That is such a freeing, I love that feeling. It is.
And I feel like that is also definitely a type of happiness for sure. But you know what else is a big type of happiness for me?
But to get to that point, you have to do all the work. Even though, like, I hate that the working
Right.
part. I don't hate it, but even though the working part of it's not the fun part, there's no way you can get that success in hitting the send unless you do all that.
Right. There's a lot
shitty
behind the
part of it.
scenes,
Yeah,
for sure.
What else makes you happy, Chad? Untranslatables, maybe?
Definitely some untranslatables. And I have, well, first of all, untranslatables are idioms, phrases, axioms, adverbs, or words that don't translate on a one-to-one basis into English smoothly. So we are here to smooth out that process for all of you amazing
said.
people out there. So I'll get us started today, Jared. My first one is Mexican Spanish, and it is comiendo mosca. Do you know what comiendo mosca means?
No.
Comiendo comes from comer,
To eat?
and mosca are flies, eating flies.
Oh! Is it like they're eating flies? Combiendo? Is that?
yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Eating flies. Is it just like you're grasping for straws? Like you're.
What exactly does grasping for straws mean?
It's like you don't know the answer, but you're just like making a bunch of random guesses that aren't really
You're
based.
getting
in anything.
warm. You're getting warm. So someone who makes these crazy guesses, they kind of go on these crazy.
Oh, someone that's like rambling or going.
Yeah,
Okay,
going
like
on
going on
tangents.
tirades or okay.
Yeah, rambling, going on a tangent, like someone who speaks very
talks a lot.
Yeah, tangents or speaks very aimlessly.
Okay, so someone that talks a lot with no direction,
Right.
like a child, essentially.
Kind of, yeah. They tell the story, and I went
Yeah.
to the castle, and
You're like, I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
right. Exactly.
My first one is Quebec French, French Canadian.
Quebecois?
Yeah, Quebecois. That's what you call it. And it is Peter le feu,
Which means?
fart fire.
Oh, is this when you eat something really spicy? No, it's not. I'm disappointed. That's not what that means.
Gross. No, it's not that. It's nothing to do with bodily excretions.
Bodily fluids.
Yeah.
Okay.
You would call someone is a like you'd call someone a fart fire.
Is it? Oh, is it someone that's just like?
He's googling it right in front of my face.
I am. No, I'm trying to find my stuff for my next untranslatables because I remember I wanted to do some different ones. So fart fire.
You're a fart fire.
Is it someone that
You're
like
not.
yells?
I would not say.
Someone
Could be.
someone
that's
that's like a hothead. Someone that like gets very angry.
Yeah. Sure. Well, no.
Loses your temper. No.
See.
I'm getting colder. It seems.
No. You're right, but it doesn't have to be that negative. It's just like an energetic person.
Oh, someone who. Oh.
Like it doesn't have to be
okay,
a
someone who's
hothead, but it's an energetic
Okay,
person. So you were on the right track, but once you started getting negative, I was like, no, I don't think it has to be
Right.
negative.
Okay, that's fair. All right. So, all right, let me find this one here. I thought I had it here.
I can give you. I want to
me another one. Give me
one
another
more.
one.
Now this one, I imagine you know what this is, but this is German. I'm sure you know what this is.
Okay, give it to
but
me.
I saw it, and it just seemed very fitting as I was reading all this stuff going on today, and just every time I open social media, I feel this. And Weltschmerz, I assume you're very familiar with that one.
World pain.
Yeah.
Explain that though, Jared. What's world pain? What's Weltschmerz?
And it seemed very fitting just because I feel like I feel that way a lot these days. So Weltschmerz, world pain, is kind of what it sounds. So you look at the world around you, and it causes you pain. You feel hopeless about the state of the world. You see the what's happening to your fellow brothers and sisters, and it just makes you feel pain for people those that are near and far.
Yeah, I feel like right now though there's probably a Vereinigten Staaten Schmerz, a U.S. pain when the world looks at us, what's happening in our country right now.
Yeah, I feel like also there's probably a lot of Schadenfreude when people look at us.
A little bit,
I think
sure.
there is in some countries might get a little joy out of watching our chaos.
Right.
Actually,
Yeah.
probably a lot do. Let's be honest.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, my next one though for you, Jared, is Mandarin, and here I'm going to play it for you. 1 second here.
开门见山，
So one more time. Hold up.
开门见山，
So this
Did she say
means-
something else at the end?
见山，
Nope.
Oh,
One more time.
开门见山，
So this means, it literally means open door sea mountain. Open door sea mountain, Jared.
is it just like broaden your horizon?
come on, Jared. Open door, see mountain.
Yeah, it's just like
Nope.
Oh, it's
Nope.
just it means don't have a closed mind.
Nope.
Okay, because that's how I think about it.
So if you were eating flies, I might tell you open door, see mountain, Jared.
Open door. Oh, was it like
If you're eating flies,
like-
if you comiendo mosca, I
Was
might,
it like look at like? It's not like open
if you're going on a tangent, I might tell you
to like
open
reel
door.
it like reel it in or like
Get to the
like,
point.
Get to
Yeah,
the point.
get to the
Oh,
point.
that's what it means to get to the point.
Open door, see mountain. Yep.
Okay, so okay.
Open
So
door,
it's like
see
just
mountain,
open the
Jared.
door and I'll see the mountain.
Yeah,
Stop.
like tell me. Yeah, tell me
stop
what you
beating
need to
around the
say.
bush.
Yep.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think I'm good there. Do you want to do more, or I think I'm good with? I'm good there.
I'm good with that. Let's talk about some travel do's and don'ts.
Yeah,
Jared.
dude.
Let's. Well, first of all, we've had a lot of time to reflect on some travel do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
Since we haven't really traveled much in a while. But I still really am looking forward to traveling at some point. Finally have my passport. But a lot of places still aren't taking Americans, and it's probably for the best that people aren't traveling a ton right now.
Yeah, and that actually leads me to my first do. When you're thinking about travel, at least for me, and this doesn't all have to be, well, I guess it does all have to be travel-based for travel do's and don'ts, but it's just like, to me, travel does not always have, like, I don't always have to be doing the most, So it's like sort
That's
of
great advice.
know that, like, you can always sort of be doing stuff. You don't have to, everything doesn't have to be extravagant. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to go far. There are plenty of places within Michigan, which is where we are, which is why I say that, where you can travel and totally get a new change of scenery, a new change of experience, And just because you can't,
Catch a new vibe, if you will.
just because no country wants to take us right now, doesn't mean you can't.
Which is
Doesn't mean
true.
there's nowhere to go.
Right, absolutely. And I think the other big thing, too, is when you're traveling, you need to really look into not only the place, but just how long is a comfortable trip for you. I think that's a big travel
Yeah.
do, because I think sometimes if you just overnight somewhere, I wonder if it's really worth all the effort. Like, if you have to, if it's further away. If it's not that far,
Sure.
then sure, I guess. But to me, I feel like if I want to travel, I'd like to spend at least a couple days, maybe even 3-4 days if I can, with work, or a week. If you really can, or a couple weeks is great.
I think nowadays too, I definitely, for some reason, the older I get, I feel like the more I appreciate longer vacations rather than short trips.
Sure.
Even if even if it is, once again, going somewhere, not, it doesn't have to be a big trip, but even if I can go away for a few days.
I think the thing is too, with a short trip, you can't. It's not as relaxing. Like you
Yes.
feel, even while you're relaxing, you feel rushed.
Because you have no time to
Just
dissociate
chill.
from the fact
Yeah.
that you have to leave at some point.
Right.
So so as soon as you get there, you're kind of already like in that I gotta leave soon mode.
Right. Like, I will tell you, one of the most relaxed times I felt, believe it or not, was in February when I was in Bali.
Of course.
Because I was there. I knew I was there I was there for like 23, 24 days.
You were in no rush.
In no rush.
Nothing no responsibilities, really.
I was looking for jobs. But other than that, I mean,
but that's not a full-time job.
right. Well, some people can make it that way. I feel like
That's
some
true.
people.
That's
but
true.
But the whole point is, because I was there for I was there for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to really relax and just kind of take it day by day. Whereas I feel like if you go for even like a weekend trip, it's like, all right, now I get there, especially if it's like if you go camping or if you do anything where it's not just like checking a hotel, drop your bags off. If you have to like do stuff, it cuts into your kind of relaxation, chill time. And if I go on a vacation or if I travel, the traveling aspect can be tiring, so I want to have some time to recharge my batteries. If I came back from a vacation feeling more tired and stressed out than I did going into it, I think I might have done something wrong in that vacation.
I think that's another do I have these days. These days is knowing what I want to get out of a trip.
Oh, for sure.
So when I went to last year when we were in Czech Republic and Berlin, I was months before I even got there, I was already resigned to the fact that this was probably not going to be a relaxing vacation. Like, I probably wasn't going to come back rested.
That's true.
I was pretty aware of that, and I was ready for it. I was looking forward to it. But then next week, at some point I'm going to be in Ohio in the middle of nowhere. for 4 days without my phone, essentially.
Right.
Just doing physical activities like going on hikes and riding my bike and stuff.
You know what else you should do?
That I expect to come back relaxed.
Right. You know what else you should do? Can you bring your keyboard?
Dude.
That would be a good idea. If you're not using your phone, you don't have a TV there, do you? I mean, you'll have a laptop.
No, I'm not bringing any. No,
Bring your keyboard.
It's not no phone, but then I
Right.
have my laptop.
Right.
I don't even know if they have Wi-Fi. I'm actually going to write that down right
Bring
now.
your
I have a
keyboard,
list of
though,
things.
yeah.
That's a great idea.
I mean,
will
why not?
Probably have space.
I mean, that's why I always bring, like, that's why I have these travel guitars, is so if I go somewhere, I can just bring it with me. And I tell you what, man, while I was in Bali, those first couple of days when I got to China, when I had like nothing really to do and all that time and I didn't have internet yet and I didn't have my phone set up, having a guitar or something to like pass the time is so
like
great.
that was almost what you would when all those moments when you want to just pick up your phone and open Instagram or Facebook, whatever.
Right.
Instead, you'd go sit. I guess not sit in front of a piano, but go pick up your guitar
Right.
and just pluck at that for a few
And
minutes.
honestly, man, it's crazy how often people check their social media. I started to realize it, and I'm really trying to cut down. I told you, my phone usage was about 3 hours when I got my report. I'm trying to cut it down to like an hour a day.
which is pretty low. Like
Yeah.
that's super low.
Right. But see, the tricky thing is I do use my phone to listen to music.
Right.
So that's the tricky thing.
But once again, as we've talked about, it really, if you have a playlist, the only time you're counting is if you're searching for music.
That's true. That is true. Good point.
Or use your computer. Listen to music
Right.
through your computer. You sit in front of your computer all day.
Speaking though of phones and computers and everything, I think that's another big travel do for me is really know what I want to take before I go. Right, I don't want to get there and then realize like, oh shit, I should have brought this.
Yeah.
Or I've had on the inverse where I've packed too much and it's like, why did I bring this? I didn't really need this.
Well, that's what we have especially for this trip where we're going to be in the woods with nothing and we're trying to, keep ourselves occupied. We have a joint list of stuff that we have to
Right.
bring. But then there is a part of me that's like, this list is getting kind of out of control.
Can you read your list? I'm really curious.
Well, we have a food section. There's a lot of food. So
Right.
we have snacks.
And
not
you're
a
there-
lot of snacks.
And you're there for what, 4 days, right?
From
4
the
days?
7th to the 10th.
So 4 days.
We get there like the afternoon on the 7th.
Right.
And so essentially 3 days in like of actual
Chilling in the woods, yeah.
no devices in the
Right.
woods kind of thing.
Yeah, bring your keyboard.
I guess
You
yeah,
should
that's a
have
good
Sydney
idea.
bring her guitar.
Well, see, that's
Do some
that's
kumbaya. You can chill.
Jesus, yeah, we could do that. We're gonna come back with like a bunch of songs, like
yes,
rehearsed.
exactly.
That would be so great. So
Jared comes back. He's like, "Yeah, I don't want to do this podcast anymore. We're
yeah.
we're
You
going
remember
on a
that gig
tour."
you were telling me about? I actually booked it.
Yeah, yeah. I took it, and it's mine now.
They changed it to a keyboardist. So we have a lot of food. So we have
And
as far as snacks go,
some grill stuff, which is a great idea for a trip.
yeah. So food is we have a lot of snacky stuff. I feel like maybe a little too much.
Favorite snacky stuff you got on there?
My frosted animal crackers.
Oh, yeah,
we
okay.
made it. We never really go to Meijer. We usually just go to like our little local grocery store. But
Were
we
you
actually
able
made
to find everything at Meijer?
No, we did. We found all of the like non-perishable stuff at Meijer,
Okay.
but we're getting all like the grocery stuff at our local grocery store that has a better selection. But we got Garden Fresh chips, which is Michigan brand, is one of my favorite chips. So we have those tortilla chips. We have cookies from this local from our local grocery store, not Meijer. Scones, actually, this one
nice.
we're gonna buy some for the road too. I have bacon, and we have toast, and we have oatmeal. That's gonna be our go-to breakfast.
And you'll get some perishables when you get closer to where you're staying, right?
When
Like
we
eggs and
like
stuff
yeah,
like that, or-
yeah. Well, actually, no, we're gonna get it before we leave. I
Okay.
bought a cooler.
Oh, yeah,
so-
you bought that fancy cooler.
As
didn't
far
you?
as stuff that we're bringing, yes, I did. As far as stuff that we're bringing that's not like food related, we have a hammock, as I've told you about. I've been using it here. Not here. I've been using it in since we've been here in Michigan. Library books. Sydney's a big reader, and she has a bunch of library books. An art kit of sorts.
Okay.
That's what she put, I guess.
Okay.
A keyboard.
Yep.
Let's see. French press for coffee.
Oh, nice.
Playing cards. We bought Mancala, and we also bought Bananagrams yesterday.
Oh, cool.
So those are going to be the two go-to games.
No
we're gonna
Uno?
use. Oh, but Uno's not as good with two people, is it?
I like it. It's
Yeah,
kind
I didn't
of
even think about Uno. I didn't even
Uno's a
think
good
about
one.
Uno. We have playing cards. I'm bringing my bicycle,
Yep.
so I'll have that.
You gonna bring your soccer ball?
I don't know. I don't know if there's gonna be enough space to sort of run around and
Maybe not.
because we're gonna be kind of like a wooded area, so I don't know if I'm gonna have like a big open area to do that, and maybe I will, but I don't know. See, that's the thing. I'm bringing my keyboard. I feel like I am sort of getting to the point where I don't want to jam my car to the brim,
Right.
Because then that almost kind of, I'm not gonna say defeats the purpose, because I still think it's everything I brought up is
Right.
better than staring at my phone.
Well, sure.
But still, it's like there still needs to be some sort of balance between just like an obsession of device of various things to distract me. It's like it's also 3 days. How much do I need for 3 days?
right.
We are going to do a daily hike as well. There are various little places in the near area where we can
cool.
drive to. So that's actually the only time we have to break our no device thing is for navigation.
That's fair, though. I think that's
Yeah,
fair.
because we have to drive to some of those places.
I'm really curious to get your feedback when you come back.
All right, dude.
You know, and how it all goes. I think
Yeah,
it'll be
I'm
fun.
really excited. I'm really
Yeah.
excited.
I thought about because I do it. We have Monday off for work. I
Yeah.
thought about going somewhere maybe tomorrow on Monday, but it's like I don't know where I would go.
You could do a day trip.
Yeah.
What kind of activity would you want to do? Because you could definitely do a day trip and go like hike or something,
Right. I thought about that. I thought about even just
or go to like a beach. I don't. It
Right.
might not be hot enough at this point,
probably not.
but maybe you could go to like Lake Michigan or something. That's a nice 2-hour drive,
Yeah, you're right. That's not
2.5
too far.
hour drive actually probably.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure. I just wouldn't mind like driving around for a while too.
Yeah, just get out of Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I understand that.
'Cause
I mean, that's why I never have any problem coming here every week because this is my one escape. So, sometimes Sydney's like, "Doesn't Chad want to come here?" I'm like, "I don't know, maybe, but I like coming here."
Right. I like you coming here too, to be honest. I mean, we got all the equipment here. It's
yeah,
easy.
and we have the perfect setup. Like we couldn't
Yeah.
sit like this at my house anyway. So
Yeah.
I like this is my only little escape. So I understand that you'd want
Right.
want to get somewhere, free up your life a little bit.
Exactly. But the crazy thing is though, dude, is now that I haven't been teaching my Russian private students anymore, unfortunately because of, the other jobs I've gotten, I just don't have the time and the energy to keep teaching all those students in Russia.
Sure.
And so now though it's been crazy, dude. I have like 3 or 4 nights a week like free now. And I used to have 7 nights a week that were not free.
Oh,
so
right, because
it's a big
I forgot about the
change.
time difference. Then
Yeah.
you'd always work at night.
Exactly. So now I'm lecturing
You have
a
that
couple
old
nights a week.
old
and
school
that's it.
9 to 5 schedule again.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Kind of. Depending on the consultations, it could be
Sure.
Could be a 10 to 6
Sure.
or an 11 to 8.
But
if
you
it
know what I
needs to be,
mean,
but
the general
It's
window.
a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I do need to upgrade my office chair. I will say that. Speaking
Yes.
of equipment. Anyways, let's get back to these travel do's and don'ts. So yeah, some do's. Yeah, definitely find a place that's, either I would say somewhere new, maybe somewhere that's not necessarily too far from you isn't a terrible idea, but just find a place that will serve whatever your purpose for your travel is, right?
Yeah. A big one for me is have a plan. And even if the plan is to do nothing,
Yep.
know
Sometimes doing nothing is the best
but
plan.
I think it helps to have that plan, or else you're not going to be. At least me personally, I might not be comfortable in that.
Right.
If that's not what I'm like. For example, we went to Ludington, Michigan last year,
Mm-hmm.
and the plan was literally to do nothing.
Right.
And
It's a
so
great
when we
plan.
would sit on the beach all day, there would never be any point like,
You didn't feel guilty.
should we go anywhere? Do you want
Right.
to go anywhere? Do you need anything? It's like this is it. This is the
This is
trip.
what I need. Yeah. This is where I need.
This is the trip. There's nothing left.
Right.
But for example, like when I go to Ohio, like there are all these parks and stuff I want to go to, and actually tonight I think I'm going to go, and especially since I'm trying to be pretty maps off, and actually just like get the ones I want to go to in a list, so
That's
I don't
smart.
have to like be Googling in the morning and trying to figure out how to
Right.
get there and which specifically I want to go to.
You should just keep your phone on airplane mode or something.
Yeah, I probably will, and because I kind of I don't know
And
how
I'll try my best not to bug you at all.
I don't
while
know.
you're there.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I won't answer because
That's true. I'd be like, why isn't he answering me?
I don't know how. I don't know if we've fully decided on this, but I kind of want still to have access to music.
That's fair.
But I don't know if I don't know if Sydney is on board with that. We haven't really fully talked about it.
Is there another way to have access to music without your phone? I guess.
Well, I can bring my old phone, which is just an iPhone 6 Plus, but it's not. It has no SIM card or anything. It's not connected to anything.
You could
It's essentially just an iPod Touch at this point.
I mean, yeah, I would say that's kind of one way to do it.
Yeah,
I guess, yeah.
and so I wouldn't even be tempted to.
Or maybe you should just have to make your own music if you want to hear music on your keyboard.
That's true. Oh, that's real torture right there. I don't know.
Right.
One of us might not make it back if we have to rely on
yourselves.
Us playing music to keep ourselves entertained. Oh, that might be dangerous.
At least you have a good singing
that's
voice.
a cool looking bird. I've never seen something like that. Is that a woodpecker?
That's a woodpecker. Yeah.
For some reason, I expected woodpeckers to be bigger than that.
Depends on the type.
I wish I could get a
they're
picture of that, but I'm probably going to fly away by the time.
Very little movement, Jared.
But I got to zoom too. Damn.
Sorry, people. We are trying to get this woodpecker here. Having a little snack. Finally getting some bird calls. Oh yeah, we didn't announce this was a porch pod. I don't think in the beginning, but yeah, you get it. See, figured you.
It's
would.
pretty good.
Yeah, that's solid. Yeah. You'll see a lot of pretty birds probably on your nature trip.
Yeah,
I would say.
I'm surprised that's what a woodpecker looks like. That's cool. Oh, that's why their food is also just like a stalk like that. Like it's just something that they have to poke at because that's what they do.
That's what they do. Yep.
Anyway,
sorry, we were mesmerized by that woodpecker there. But yeah. Anyways, I think the music thing is a good idea though. Maybe with your other phone. Because it serves. Once again, this goes back to the plan
no
and the
temptation
purpose.
to
text or scroll
just
through.
check to see what's happening on Twitter.
Right. Exactly.
I do hope that I come back and there's some like bombshell that
There
I
probably
totally
will be.
missed out.
There
Yeah,
probably
I
will
mean,
be.
there's never not a bombshell happening on Twitter.
I mean,
anymore.
Jared, have you realized it still is 2020? We're in month 9, but it's still 2020.
You know, it's something that I thought about when we were talking about this before we started. Something that always, I don't want to say it bothers me, but yeah, sure, it bothers me. I don't like those country counters.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm not gonna say don't do that because it is interesting to know. I guess, but I don't like the obsession of the country counting.
That's fair.
Because I feel like it, in a weird way to me.
It's a humble brag.
Or it's not even the brag. It just kind of feels like it defeats the purpose.
Right.
Because it's like, yeah, but you can do a lot. Like, for example, you could do a lot of amazing travel in the U.S.
Right.
And that's one country, you know?
Yeah, you don't see
I
people
feel like
bragging like 47 out of 50 states. You know?
Yeah, you do, actually.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
You think so?
For
Okay.
sure. But I don't think it's not as good as a brag as saying, like, 47 countries. That's for
Right.
sure. But yeah, I guess I'm not going to say don't do it, but I just feel like to me sometimes it just kind of feels like it defeats the purpose.
I think
you know?
travel-related bragging is just kind of lame, you know?
Yeah, sure. I guess that's true.
And I don't mean to be a hypocrite because I've posted pictures on Instagram when I've been traveling.
Is that bragging?
But I don't think so. I mean,
well, I posted a picture on Instagram from what was that place called? This picture. New.
Oh yeah,
And I posted new house. Who dis? Is that a brag? It was the Berliner Dome that I was standing in front
That's just
of.
making a joke, I'd say. but yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know. I guess I've kind of changed my perspective a little bit on travel, just because I've realized there's so many places here in the U.S. I haven't seen.
I agree.
You know, I've been lucky to see a lot of cool places, and also though Asia. I want to see more of Asia. United States and Asia. You know, I've not that, you know, if I could go back to Europe tomorrow, I would, because it's I love Germany, you know, Czech Republic, Netherlands, you know, there's a lot of countries in Europe that I'd like to visit and see more of. But at the same time, you know, here in the US, I feel like I can control a little bit more of the travel if I like take my car, for example.
Yes.
You know, it's just different.
I definitely feel a lot more comfortable road tripping than travel, even than traveling any other way, especially right now. But even in general, it's much more comforting. You can usually probably bring more stuff.
Yep.
It's just I don't know. It's just almost like a. It's like you're never stuck or anything. It's like, I mean, if I need to go somewhere, I can literally go anywhere right now.
Exactly.
It's a kind of a freeing feeling.
Yeah.
Do you have any other? Let's think of some other do's and don'ts.
Well, a big travel do for me, and this has to go with kind of with equipment, and as we've already talked about, but have a way to listen to music, I would say, because regardless if you're doing any travel, there's going to be some times where, like, I guess not even listen to music, but listen to music or a podcast. I mean, unless you're trying to disconnect to the point where you don't bring any electronics.
Yeah.
But
well, before I go on normal trips, especially with an airplane, I definitely do I'm prepared on my podcast to the point where I kind of know which ones I'll even listen to. Like in my head, I'll do some rough math and I'll be like, all right, I'll probably start with this one as I'm in the Uber and walking through the airport, and then I'll probably switch to this one, and then so like I kind of have it, and I have them all downloaded already. Like I'm already like a pre-downloader of podcast. But yeah,
Right.
I have that all worked out in my head beforehand. I was like, all right, if something happens and I actually have to go longer, and now that I have well, and since I've been a wireless headphone person, especially now that I have AirPods, granted I haven't traveled with them yet. Now I sometimes I travel with 2 pairs of headphones, because if you're on an airplane, especially if you're going on like is that your screensaver?
I guess so.
If I'm going on like a trip or something, like I need to make sure that I have headphones to last me as like the entire thing, and AirPods last for like 4 hours tops.
Right.
And so that's not really going to get you through even your standard trip to Europe.
Right.
And so now you got to have backup headphones.
Well, if I'm traveling via a plane or a train, I want over-the-ear headphones.
True.
There's just
But my over-the-ear headphones are pretty shitty too. So
it's time to upgrade, man.
you have those
time to
fancy
upgrade.
Dre's.
They're great, dude.
Yeah.
They are great. I mean, it was honestly, man, they're expensive, but I think it was worth every penny.
Yeah, especially
You know.
especially for you, you're always on airplanes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore.
That's true.
Not in half a
That's
year.
true. Yeah, but now you
Half
live with
a
your
year.
parents, so they serve another purpose. That's rude. That's just a
That's
joke.
that is very rude. He was just joking. Don't worry. Well, my parents don't listen.
And I'm
anyways,
projecting anyway.
So,
I'm you know me. I'm a headphone wearer
right.
all day long.
I mean, I wear
to a
them.
fault.
I wear them a lot too. But the nice thing is now with those headphones, they've been great for work.
Yeah.
Because they're so much more comfortable. Like these
What's
are
interesting?
okay, but
you wear headphones at work.
when I have my consultations.
Oh,
yeah.
like talking through.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have meetings occasionally, and I just put in like the earbuds that come with my cell phone or whatever.
Right.
But I actually make a point to use like speakers as much as I can if I'm actually just sitting at my desk and listening to like a music or podcast to like limit the headphone usage, because it can be too much.
Right. Yeah. I tend to if I'm upstairs working, if I'm listening to music, I'll also use my computer speakers. But
Yeah,
but
I feel you.
won't
I feel
won't
you.
use my headphones then. But
What's
yeah.
your do's and don'ts when it comes to eating before you get on a plane?
I try to not like eat to the point where I'm like uncomfortably full. Like I feel like in the States, it's very easy with all the airport restaurants to just overeat, especially because if you get there early, and Jared knows me very well, when I travel, by plane, I get to places way too early.
Yeah.
So it's easy, if you got a bunch of time to kill, it's easy to just overeat. And I feel like it's not good to go on a plane and travel and have a super full stomach.
Because of how close I always cut my travel, it's easy for me to avoid the stuffing myself at an airport. But I think sometimes I do go a little overboard with stuffing myself at home before the trip, because I think I'm very like there's no unless you're going to like some sort of specific restaurant at an airport, nothing at an airport food wise is going to blow me away or taste amazing. It's all
Right.
just going to be
Chains.
It's all just going to be some junk to make me feel a little better than hungry.
Right.
And so I always do my best to just go to an airport like stuffed. And sometimes it might be to a fault. Maybe I go a little overboard. But it's like I don't want to even have to think about food if I can, especially if it's on a domestic flight. It's very nice to not even have to think about the food aspect
That's
of
true.
it.
That is true.
So I think and so I also wouldn't want to stuff myself at an airport, because everything at an airport is so expensive, bro.
Oh, for sure.
Like a water bottle's like $4, and it's like, man, I got to sip this, enjoy it.
I will say though, some of the airports I was at in Asia, I mean, the food was it was more expensive than like if you went to a normal restaurant.
Sure.
But it was still fairly cheap. Some of it was, and some of it was really good. Like I got some of that really good sweet and sour pork that's like a Harbin dish at the airport in Harbin, for example.
Yeah.
So if you can get authentic food if you're traveling internationally, I don't think it's a terrible idea to have like a little snack at the airport.
What's your do and don't on alcohol before a flight?
Well, if you asked me this when I was younger, I would say have as many beers as you want. Now I would tell you honestly, maybe a beer with your meal or a glass of wine.
All right, doctor.
But yeah, exactly though, man. I mean, I don't think it's good for you to drink a ton of alcohol before a flight.
There's a weird line because getting drunk before a flight, that is such a risk.
Yeah,
you're stuck on an enclosed space that could be super hot. There's a potential for it to just be super hot.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that easy access to a bathroom. Now, obviously, you have access to it, but if you need it, you don't know that it's going to be open for you. Like, there's so many variables.
Too many.
When you're And for me, especially on an international flight, I'm with you too. I used to think that that was, especially on a long flight, like it's free. Why not just get as much as you can?
Right.
But then especially once you mix in like the grogginess, the grogginess,
grogginess,
groggy.
Feeling sleepy and groggy. A little grog for your grogginess.
The grog that you get from not sleeping, from drinking a lot, and from what do you call it when you time change?
Oh, just a time change.
Jet lag. Jet lag. It's a terrible combination.
Although I will say this, if you're not changing time zones,
but then you're not flying that far.
3-4 hours, so you could fly 3-4 hours.
Yeah, sure. But then the booze wouldn't be free,
right?
And I wouldn't be interested.
I will say this though: when I went back to Austria, February of 2013, the flight was fairly empty because it was kind of a weird time. I flew back like 3 or 4 weeks later than most other people when they were studying abroad.
Mm-hmm.
And the flight was practically empty. So I got once again, we talked about how our mindsets have changed a little bit as we've gotten older. I was 22 at the time, or 21 maybe even. And when they said, free cocktails, the flight's pretty empty. I was in the middle seat and there was no one sitting on either side of me. So I sat on the window seat, could kind of sprawl out, relax. It was amazing, dude.
I feel like I might have had that when I actually visited you. Because I feel like I remember spreading out in the and that's
nothing's
that's
better than that. But anyway,
that's almost better than first class.
Right. And so I had like 3 or 4 screwdrivers, and I had like a beer with my meal, and I was out, dude. I slept like 6 hours out of that 8-hour flight, I think.
Was it a good sleep though? Like
no, of course not. Of course not. No, never.
You wake up and
you feel groggy, real groggy, and if you fly to Europe, you get there at like 6 a.m.
Yeah. The
so
morning
you're like hungover and groggy, or you're still drunk. It's just not a good combination.
I've totally had that experience of like walking through a German train station in the morning,
just hungover.
Yeah, and people are like going to work around you or going to school.
And you just feel like such a real piece of shit. Well, you remember when we were in Berlin traveling to Prague? I felt like garbage, dude. That was it was a fun night, but yeah, you pay for it later.
Oh yeah,
you pay for it.
Oh yeah, the grog is real.
But see, that should be a drop right there. The grog is real. Oh, that is hilarious. The grog it's true though. But see, I think that's the difference. That's how my mindset with travel has changed. Being back here in the States a little bit is that if I drive somewhere, I can't do that.
Sure.
But I
mean, that was a big change even between Philly and here.
Sure.
For me.
For sure. I really, and I've said this to you before, I think when we've talked in private, I really want at some point like a camper or an RV. Mm-hmm. That would be so awesome. Mm-hmm. But they're kind of expensive, so I'm going to have to really...
You can find cheap ones, but, I guess...
You got to fix them up.
There's always the balance between how much effort you want to put in personally versus how much you're willing to pay.
Right, exactly. So, any RV people out there that want to sponsor the Untranslatable podcast, we can do some great on the road again with an RV.
Yes.
That would be cool.
That's just so hilarious in my mind. It's like, what? There's a 300,000. They're going to sponsor us and give us like a $300,000
like a tour bus
camping rig,
has our picture on the like spare tire,
a customized Sprinter van for us, all
Exactly.
decked out.
It'd be sweet, dude.
That
I'd
would
be okay with
sweet.
it.
Yeah.
It would be fun. I mean, I have so many places around here. Like I would love to drive through like Tennessee, drive through
And it's so much more
Appalachia.
freeing too, because then I mean, it's obviously a lot more responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
but like. I mean, it's not glamorous by any means, but it's such a step up from being in a tent.
Oh, for sure.
It's such a
For sure.
it's such a step up, and it feels so much more accessible. Which I guess accessible once you pay thousands of dollars for the vehicle, it's
Right.
more accessible. So
Right.
it's not really more accessible.
But I think it's, it might not be a worthwhile investment in terms of how much money you spend.
I mean, it depends how much you use it.
Right. But it would
Make
be
it
so
worth your
cool.
while. You got to
But-
use it a lot.
Yeah, but I think that might be a travel do or don't right there is figure out what is, because for example, some people, especially to our American listeners out there, it might be cheaper in the long run to invest more up front for like a camper if you're planning on camping a lot. Because I just know, like, I know people who have bigger families, it's hard to afford to fly everybody to Europe or something.
Sure.
But you can still take trips, as you said, around here. Or I would love to do, like, a road trip one day across the U.S. I thought about that, like, when my contract's up in May. Like, if I don't have any jobs lined up for the summer, I should hopefully be able to save up enough money where if I
You'll
wanted
probably
to,
at
I
least
could do
have a
that.
week or two in between jobs where
Right.
you'll have some time to do something like that.
I would hope so. We'll have to see. But, like, something like that would be awesome. I've never been to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Have you traveled a lot in the U.S.? Like state-wise?
I mean, some. When I was a kid, we used to drive from Michigan to Florida.
Sure, classic. That's classic Michigan.
Yep,
Michigan.
typical Michigan. Yeah.
I've actually never done that before.
We
but
drove
I-
out to Montana, I think, once or twice. I've gone to Yellowstone. I've seen the Grand Tetons, which are beautiful.
I've been to Yellowstone. I was a small kid, but it is awesome.
Yep, it's pretty cool.
Have you been to like California?
Yep.
Okay.
Visited my grandma out in California when she was still alive.
But
when I was a kid.
but this is all child stuff. As
Yeah.
an adult, you haven't really.
It's different.
traveled
Yeah, exactly.
The
Exactly.
US.
The most I have traveled as an adult in the States, it's not really been much at all.
You
I
and
go
your
to
dad used to
Europe
go to the strongman whatever in
Ohio, but that doesn't really count. I mean, I'm also
Ohio doesn't count as traveling.
Well, it does, but it totally does. But like, if I'm going there, it's more I'm going there to see my sister and my
Sure,
niece
sure.
and
Yeah,
my
no, I know.
brother-in-law
I
and
know.
all that. But I don't know. I guess if I were to think of traveling, I would rather travel somewhere in Michigan, like check out something more in the UP, for example.
Yeah.
Beautiful nature up there, eh? Don't you know?
Yeah, we got plenty of lakeside to
Yep.
explore.
Yep. Great Lakes. But I would love to see like more of like the South a little bit, Tennessee. Even just drive through like Kentucky or Georgia.
New Orleans is fun for a day or two.
Just a day or two.
I mean, I've never had to, like stay there for multiple
Right.
days because all my family lives there. I could not see myself traveling to New Orleans for like a week.
Right.
I don't know what I would do.
Okay, that's fair.
I would.
There aren't enough like sites to see and like stuff to check out, even like pre-COVID.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe there's definitely a week's worth of food you could explore, but I don't know about like actual like sites for a week. I don't know. I don't know about that.
That's fair. I like Austin, Texas,
And it's
is on my
overwhelming.
list.
It's also overwhelming because it's so much all the booze and stuff that New Orleans has. It's just overwhelming
Right.
for a week.
I haven't like drank alcohol in months now.
Yeah.
Really.
I bought a
I don't regret
12
it.
pack of Oberon for my trip.
Ooh, that is a good purchase right there, though. That's for sure. So we've talked about some do's. Let's talk about some don'ts. I would say my first don't, believe it or not, Jared, and you'll probably chuckle at this, is don't overplan. I think it's very easy to
Sure.
overplan. You're excited for your trip, and I think it's we've done it ourselves. When we were like, yeah, we're gonna go do this and see this and do this, and it's
But we overplan. But I think that goes to my point of having a plan,
Right.
less than the overplanning part. Because the way that we overplan, I think overplanning also involves you actually also like or the traveler almost stressing themselves out about having to stick
That's what I mean,
to the
yeah,
schedule. Because
exactly.
we overplanned with a lot of stuff to do, but we were very flexible and willing to just drop stuff off.
You know why, Jared?
Because we're geniuses?
Because we were staying breezy. Staying breezy, Jared. That's why. Well, yeah, I agree with you. And I guess also kind of your favorite phrase here, piggybacking on that don't overplan.
Hey, can you hook me up with one of those beer
Sure.
cans?
Yeah,
I didn't even want one, but since they're in front of me.
They're great, yeah.
And they're cooked to perfection.
They are. They really are. Anyways, while Jared's enjoying his bacon and I'm drooling over here, the thing with like don't overplan is also like you said, be flexible with your plans. You know, I think you and I were both totally fine with nixing anything from our plan, from dropping it. You know,
Yeah, and we were kind of married. Anything that we were married to, we
made sure we
agreement on.
right, and we did it. You know, a lot of it was just little stuff though. Going to that one beer place was one for me. Obviously, having some currywurst was like a must.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know, walking around the Berliner Dome and some of that stuff when we were in Berlin.
Yeah.
I think I also had a couple things on our list for Prague as well. Like I wanted you guys to go to that one Czech restaurant, the really good one in Komutov. I knew that was like a
Republic?
must. Yeah, Republika.
Republica, yeah.
Yeah. So that is really important. You know, be flexible with your plans. You know, as you said, don't, you know, if you do have some that are important, stay married to those. Like I'm sure for your trip, you know, you guys sound very serious about making sure you go on that hike.
Yeah.
You know, but see, I think the keyboard's a good idea because I hope you guys have great weather. But if you have crappy weather and you have to stay inside, then you'd have a keyboard there. You know, obviously you guys can cook and play cards and do other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, to me that sounds like a lot of fun. Now I'm gonna let you talk.
All right. Well, let's think of another don't. Don't travel with someone you don't like.
That's a big don't.
I guess it's more like know the person you're traveling with, rather than don't travel with someone you don't like. But I definitely have been in travel situations. It's not that I don't like the person, but it's more know who you're getting involved with more than anything. So kind of know what you have to expect. And so like this person that comes to mind. There have been difficult trips, but those have been more the earlier trips to where now, listen, especially when I travel with some people, I am the embodiment of stay breezy. Because there's some of those, especially some of those stick to the schedule people that don't take well to like changing up what we do or just dropping stuff off. But also, like,
which is a normal aspect of travel, I would say.
Sure, but also, like, if they want to do that, I think I'm fine with it. You know, if they want to stick to the schedule, I'm fine with it. So it's just know who you're getting involved with. But then there's probably certain people where it's like, I need to take the lead a little bit more, or else we're just gonna be sitting around being like, "What do you want to do?
Yeah,
I don't know. What do you want to do?"
Well, that goes back to I think if you have a plan, that won't happen.
Sure, yeah.
You know, if you
that's the worst. I hate that.
Oh, that is terrible. Yeah, being indecisive while traveling.
Yeah, be assertive.
Right.
Don't be indecisive.
I agree.
And I think that's something that during our Czech Republic trip, I was very impressed with you about. You were very good at asking Don and I what we wanted to do. But if there was any of that, like, oh, I don't know, or any of that, not sure, like you were good at deciding. And you're like, well, I'm the one that knows this place. I live here.
Right.
So, like, if no one knows anything, then I'll just say, how about we try this place out, see what happens.
And I mean, the good thing is, too, with travel, you know, you don't have to, like, in those situations, I always knew if we tried something like a couple of the bars that we went to, I wasn't sure how crowded they'd be, you know.
Right.
And so part of me was like, well, I mean, yeah, I don't like us wasting our time while we travel by like trying to go somewhere and then it doesn't work out, but I would rather try that and then have a backup plan than...
And that doesn't feel like a waste of time to me.
Right.
Because we still get like the fun of like the exploring as we walk from place to place.
Right.
And walking at night from bar to bar is an experience in itself, almost completely different than doing like sightseeing, because you don't really see as much at night.
You do more people seeing.
Yes,
especially in Prague.
especially in Europe in general.
Yeah,
there's something about drunk people in Europe. They're not ashamed.
Especially it's the British drunk people in Europe.
No,
That's
but
who
we've
it is.
totally been to like in Vienna. You'll see drunk people walking down the street. It's not uncommon to see at least one person just throwing up on the side of a building.
Seen that before? Yep.
Almost every weekend you'll probably see at least one.
Right.
And so it's like they're just a lot less. But also, I mean, you know, these cities are set up for walking. These they're a lot. These cultures are a lot more accepting of it and all that stuff. But like I love that. What were we talking about? What was my
Don't people you don't know or people you don't
right,
want to travel
right,
with.
yes.
Also, when you travel, don't be afraid to say no. You know, you're only there for a certain amount of time. You are there for you. I have really started to try to learn, Jared, how to say no. I know it sounds stupid, but it's honestly kind of a skill you have to develop. I think there are a lot of Americans who I would just rather say I would just rather be upfront and say no, you know, if you can. And that also goes back to the kind of, I don't know, what do you want to do kind of thing. It's like, oh, I want to go do this. And if it's something that you really don't want to do, I also think if you travel with someone, if you're an adult, you should be an adult enough to be like, you can go do that and I can go do this. You know, we don't have to spend every waking moment with one another when you travel. You know, sometimes it's good to have a little space to yourself. You know,
and that's something that I'm always kind of aware of, and I'm you know, me, I'm a wanderer,
right?
So that's always good. Good for like when I travel with my partner. Like last time we went to Chicago, actually right before the weekend, before the
lockdown.
The lockdown started. That's always my go-to thing. Like she was not feeling well, not Rona sick. Let's be clear, but she wasn't feeling well. And I'm like, that's cool. And I literally just like wandered the city for like an hour and a half.
Right.
And it was great. And that's all I need. So yeah, I think being able to separate, especially when you're traveling with like a significant other, is being able to like do your own thing is something that is key. I would say.
Yeah, like you know, if you want to go visit a museum and they're kind of like, yeah, I'm not into that.
Yeah,
you know, if you really want to go visit it, go visit it. You know, and also don't be upset if you're. I guess it's one thing if you know you go with your partner and it's like a honeymoon or something, you know. But
sure,
but if it's just like a trip, like we would always drop my dad off at an art museum in Berlin or Dresden or wherever, and we'd be like, all right, we'll meet up with you in a couple hours, and you know, I'd go. You know, have like a coffee or something with my mom, or you know, we'd go do something. You know?
Sure.
So it's very different than I need to change that background. Huh?
It's very boring.
It is.
Chad's MacBook Pro.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, I think being able to say no is a big one. A big travel don't as well as I would say. Don't take things that happen to you while you travel too personally. Like
oh, you mean from like locals and stuff?
Right, because like sometimes like you know, you might have someone bump into you and get an attitude with you, or some people might just be rude to tourists. Now I will also say though, as a tourist, make sure you are
maybe
respecting,
you're also just being an asshole.
Well,
about
right.
the culture
Make sure
or whatever.
Make sure you did your homework and are respecting the cultures, the customs, and all that stuff. Sure.
But much like in your own home, you have no control over other people's emotions or feelings towards you,
right?
And
or how they treat you, you know.
But then also don't use that person as an explanation for why the city sucks or why the people of that country are assholes or something like that.
Especially if it only is like one bad, like
especially if it's one bad thing, and especially if you're in a tourist place. Because I've had friends that live in tourist cities, like even in the U.S., and you can kind of see them like hate tourists for what kind of feels like no reason to me. That's never really lived in like a touristy place. I mean, Philly kind of is, but I wasn't. It's so easy to avoid tourists, especially where I lived, where you didn't really get that vibe. But like. I just have friends where like, you know, Don lived in San Francisco and he almost got like this disgust for tourists.
Right. Well, I kind of did my second semester in Vienna.
Yeah.
On Kärntnerstrasse because it was always so crowded with tourists.
And that is such a tourist trap for like people
so
trying to catch them.
Right.
You know, like in front of the Staatsoper we used to always talk about.
Literally,
all you have to do is look at the Staatsoper and look up, and people will come at you like, "Hey, do you want to buy this? Do you want to buy this?" But if you just walk past it as if you've seen it before, they ignore you.
It's crazy, man. So I guess a don't would be also I guess don't be that tourist. It would be a don't.
Yes.
Don't be that tourist. Also, though, don't, as we said, don't take it too personally if someone gets an attitude with you. Or, you know, I've had people like in Bali when we would try to haggle and some people just wouldn't really budge. And I was like, you know what, that's fine. We just can't come to an agreement. And some people can get kind of rude. I mean, money is on the line, you know?
Especially as you being a white American in a country like that. I feel like sometimes there is this assumption that you are just like, well, you can't afford it, you rich American.
Right. And I am by no means rich. I'm doing okay for myself right now financially, but I'm
upper
not
middle
rich.
class. No.
I don't even know if I'd say upper at this point. But give me a couple of years, Jared, and hopefully some good financial decisions. We'll be on the right track here. But yeah, just don't take that stuff too personally.
Mm-hmm.
When you travel. Another travel don't. Another travel don't, though, and I don't mean to be a hypocrite, but don't go too hard. Like, don't party and drink so much to the point where you end up in a hospital. If you're in a foreign country, do not take drugs from someone you don't know at a club or something. I mean, it should go without saying, but...
Well, yes. That's a very practical thing that you should know no matter where you are. Don't take drugs from strangers. But even like when you're... even just like when it comes to drinking, I like that's such a delicate line to play, especially when you're like our age and you're traveling through Europe. Like that was such a delicate line for us to have to play when we were in Berlin. Especially, it's like, all right, we're gonna stay up until 3 a.m, 4 a.m, whatever it is, probably later than that. But we also want to see stuff, and so it's like we have to balance staying up late, drinking alcohol, and then wanting to actually be productive the next day,
which is very difficult.
And when you do that, something's got to give somewhere.
Yep.
And so I think we're not. I mean, we drink, but we're not drinkers. We're not like huge drinkers. So for us, it's always been pretty easy to like not get so hammered that I'm like out of commission for the next day.
Well, I would prefer now just like a couple chill beers somewhere, like a nice bar,
like Usudu.
Right, Usudu, or
that's
that
my
I forget
vibe.
that place, Kraftwerk, I think was what it was called.
Where was that?
Or in Berlin. No. What was it called?
That kind of dark hole in the wall, the place,
which was really cool, and
with
the beer was great.
With
beer
the
was
Scottish
really
guy or whatever that was, or the English guy.
Yep. Yeah, that's the other thing though. Is a big travel don't always, if you're there for a long time, don't always go to the same place.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Bali, the thing that I really liked was, I was in Ubud for, I think, a week. I was in Kuta for, a week and a half, and I went to a couple other places. I went to Seminyak, so visiting other places while you're traveling somewhere is always, I think, really good, and it gives you an opportunity to see some new things. It can be really easy to get in that type of mindset where you always eat at somewhere that's like close to your hotel or where you're staying, which I get in terms of practicality, but also don't be afraid to venture out a little bit more, try something new. I mean, I had so many good, Indonesian dishes, like satay, which is like, meat on skewers, oh no, I forget what all these different dishes are called now. But all the like fried rice with chicken and vegetables and all this stuff over there. It's so great, but we ate at different places. So it's really important, I think, to try new places. So a big travel don't always just go to what's easy and go to what's comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, we're team #maps off, and I think that's a big aspect. Is you just let your body tell you where to go. Let the journey is the destination, man. Oh, you're still chewing. I'm trying to think of another untranslatable I could throw in there.
This is some crunchy bacon here, Jared. It's good stuff. What other travel don'ts are there?
Let's see.
I mean, obviously, don't be unprepared.
Of course.
Don't underpack. I think sometimes.
I always pack an extra pair of underwear. That's a definite, and socks. Extra pair of underwear and socks always. That's not a don't. Don't not do that. I don't know. I don't really have any more don'ts.
I'm trying to think of some other don'ts here. Well, let's just recap, I guess. So some of our do's were, for me, really think about how long you can take a trip, right? What's comfortable for you, what you need for your trip. So I also make a packing list. I think I might even still...
You really?
Yep. I think I might still have somewhere on my Google Drive my itinerary.
Even just for a normal trip?
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
Wow.
I tend to write, because I just want to know I have everything I need. And also I do that...
I should. I forget stuff a lot. So.
Well, and I do that also so when I leave from that place, I kind of have a mental image of my head of seeing and reading that so I don't forget anything. It's like, oh, shoot, I need my, It's really easy to forget maybe your like phone charger in the wall or something,
Yeah, that's true. What I do is I tend to I'll like put out on my bed before I actually put it into the suitcase, like some mock up some outfits, so I have an idea of what I'm going to be wearing. So it's like, all right, if I bring these pants, then I can probably wear these shirts with them. And then if I bring these pants, I can probably wear these shirts with them. But there's also some overlap on which, on that too. So, what gives me not only pants I like, but then also like a wide range of usability. Like these would be a good travel pant. I would say they have a wide range of usability.
Exactly. That's crucial.
Mm-hmm. Versatile clothes.
Mm-hmm. Well, I like stuff too that you can wear in different settings. Or if you were to go to a nicer club, you could wear something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also not uncomfortable. It's comfortable, and
that's the Samba for me. The Samba is
the do it all.
One of my favorite travel shoes.
Yep, you've trekked a lot of miles in your Sambas. I have too.
I mean, I literally just once they become uncomfortable to walk in, I just buy a new pair of the same thing.
Right. I mean, you know what you're getting.
This is like the third one I've had over the past 4 or 5 years.
Right. But yeah, so let's see here. So smart packing list, I would say. Also, do your homework on the cultures and customs, though.
For sure.
You don't want to be going to some places,
but don't
handing them.
But
stuff
I would
with your
say
left hand.
Yeah, but I'd say don't overdo it too, because sometimes I'd say you overdo it.
I definitely do. But I think at the same time as well, allow yourself to have an open enough mind when you travel that if you do something wrong unintentionally, I think hopefully a good person will actually tell you,
sure.
Like, hey, just so you know. And don't take that personally. They're trying to help you.
I think that's a big one. Don't take stuff personally.
Right, because like for example in China, my students kept always handing me their homework assignments with both hands. And I was like, why? And it's because they're showing respect. Mm-hmm. And here I am just kind of grabbing them, because I'm right, because I'm trying to get this done. Yeah, throwing their assignments back at them, making a paper airplane, sending it back to them. Yeah. So yeah, be aware of some of those, polite and also too, though, I would say learn how to say hello, thank you, please, and goodbye
learn the
in
basics.
Whatever language. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Any other do's or don'ts for today, Jared?
I think that was good. A good comprehensive list of do's and don'ts.
I think we've wrapped it up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let us know what some of your travel do's and don'ts are at the Untranslatable Podcast at gmail.com. You can check out this beautiful scenery out here and tons of great stuff on our Instagram stories at Untranslatable Podcast on Instagram. Check us out on Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1, where you can find lots of great retweets and you can find info about our episodes. And lastly, please, 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, dziękujemy, muchas gracias, Shisha, and do svidania. That last piece is all yours.
I was going to say you could have it.
Nope, that one's all yours, my man. Take it.
All right, fine.
You've earned it.
It's been a hard day of podcasting.
That's right, dude. Hard day, but a good day. Got those birds in the background again.
Yeah.
Clouds are still moving, but I think we'll be all right.